Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Match Grade Podcast. We're here with another super awesome, exciting, and hopefully highly informative and possibly educational.
Possibly.
No refunds required. No guarantees.
Nor will be guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's right.
Your mileage may vary. Repeat as necessary. Just like shampoo. So tonight, so we're answering some questions from viewers and actually in classes based on recent events.
Yeah.
And so we figured, you know what? Let's put a podcast together and put some thoughts out there. So at least we're sharing some of this. Okay. How to deal with a mob or a riot that erupts and how to get home. Because that's the goal of everybody every day, right? Getting home.
Get back safely.
We talked about this a few episodes ago where I built my get home bag and I've slimmed it down, thanks to Matt's advice, and got about 5 pounds of crap out of it. But that bag was built for me to go, oops, I can't drive for whatever reason. Can't drive my car.
Doesn't matter why.
I gotta get out of the car and I gotta get home. So this is kind of like how to do it now.
Well, this is kind of like one scenario where that might happen.
Right.
So, or could happen.
So just to give you an idea, some incidents that come to mind, at least in my mind, based on news and everything, going back to 1992, they had the LA riots. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then,
And it wasn't just LA. People
it was
think,
a lot of places.
It was a lot of the country. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But why did they make the news? Because there was a sensational episode where a gentleman he was a gas tanker driver and he got pulled out of the car and he just got mobbed by a bunch of people and he ended up with some severe permanent injuries that, basically changed his life forever. Right. So we got that. There's been other things, but more recently, we've had, the incident where Kyle Rittenhouse was involved.
Yeah, part of the whole George Floyd rioting that went on, again, across the whole country.
Okay.
And that actually went on for 2 to 3 summers. So
it was
not it was not just one time. So
yep. And then most recently, we've had the issues in LA again with some of the immigration and ICE issues. Now, guys, big disclaimer. We're not diving deep into these. We are not making commentary either way on these. We're just giving you examples of what's been happening. And then we're going to talk about what you can do should something happen where you are and how you can get your butt home.
Right. Get out and get your butt
home. So we're not wading into
not political commentary.
All right. So Matt, talk to us about this phenomena here. What are your thoughts? What comes to mind?
So when we're dealing with a riot, we're dealing with a mob. It's an assembly of people, and there may be some instigators, there may be some people who kind of start the whole thing going, and they start drawing people in, working with people's emotions, getting them riled up, getting them involved. There's usually some central cause or theme that they're looking at, and they're trying to get an emotional reaction to then bring larger and larger numbers in to support whatever their agenda is. Doesn't matter what it is.
So it's kind of like an exponential growth thing, They want to influence 2 or 3 people.
Right.
They want them to influence 2 or 3 people.
They pull more in.
That spreads. Yeah.
And the thing is, like today, this is driven through a lot of social media.
Yep.
It's not just, spontaneous people just grabbing people on the street. Like word is put out about this stuff. Yeah. You see literally like advertisements for it.
It's very organized and
there is an organizational aspect to it.
Yep.
But once it gets started, there's not a lot of controlling it. Mm-hmm. It becomes its own organic thing that grows and can keep growing. And there's no reasoning with a mob because there's not a central brain that's controlling it. You have all these people in an emotional state that now are reactive, and they're going to react to whatever's going on around them and even what they're being kind of told to do.
Right.
So you can't reason with it. And if you do something, if you get on their radar, then you're fighting this emotional blob that you're
a swarm.
A swarm. Yeah, exactly. That you're not going to be able to. And it can be very loud, chaotic, unpredictable, and very disorientating if you find yourself in the midst of it.
Right.
So
I'm thinking like in a normal day, you know this intersection, you know which way you need to go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you pull up to the light and 1,000 people are surrounding your car and you're getting into a little bit of a panic mode because you don't know what's going on.
Right.
And you might make a left, but all of a sudden you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
Now you got to go straight or right, and things get a little chaotic. And
or you turn this corner and everything seemed fine on the street you're on, and you turn the corner and all of a sudden the street's blocked and nothing's moving, and now cars are stopped. You can't turn around. That's the kind of thing that happens. I've read multiple reports of that type of thing. Everything seemed fine, and you take one turn, and it's like a whole different world.
Oh,
so that can happen.
Like they usually say in some cities, one block makes the difference, but in this case, one corner could make the difference.
One turn, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
all right, guys. So we were talking about the mob mentality and like what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in this situation, or you think that something is going on, how do you get through it? How do you survive? How do you get home, as we mentioned earlier?
Right. So let's actually, since we can, it is the phrasing that I use when people ask me about like home invasions and burglaries and everything. Let's rewind the video a little bit.
I think that's a good idea.
Right?
Yep.
And since we can do it now.
Yep.
Right? So I'm driving around the city. I'll give you a scenario. I'm driving, I'm going from point A to point B. I'm driving around the city. I guess one of the things that, I do pay attention to, but not a lot of, is, like social media. I'll look at things and see where things might be popping up.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's important, right?
But we kind of have to, I don't listen to local radio anymore. It annoys me. And I hate to say it, but it does. I just don't want to listen to commercials all the time. I don't want to listen to talk shows. I don't want to, but that's just me. I want to have the radio on in the background. I just want to be able to have that occupy the back of my mind while I'm driving.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm doing that.
Yep.
Right. But what things should I be doing, or what should I be aware of?
Yeah.
To maybe avoid the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of mentioned social media. I think that's important. Before you go out, like if things are going on, pay attention to news, things on social media. What are people talking about? Are they planning some sort of protest, some sort of demonstration, some sort of sit-in? There's all these terms that you'll see that pop up. And if you don't have to go near that area for a really good reason that day, don't go there.
Right.
Like know where that might be and avoid it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Also pay attention to your news. I know you said you don't listen to local radio, but sometimes your local radio station, that might be the best resource for stuff that's happening right at the moment.
Right. Yeah. You'll have the reporter on the spot interviews, or they'll be putting stories out. Right.
Yep. Exactly. So that's something to look at. Just even your friends and family, like they may mention, hey, I heard something. I saw a flyer that, there was going to be this protest downtown tomorrow, or in the center of the village you live in, which is a kind of a newer phenomenon.
Yeah.
A lot of this was in bigger cities, but we're seeing more protests in smaller towns.
Yeah.
So be aware of that.
Yeah,
so
they're taking the fight to the people that don't think they're involved.
So awareness is in the big scheme of things.
Yeah. Actually, there's one other thing that I've used in the past. If I'm aware of something that's going on and I start hearing like things are starting to grow.
Yep.
I'll bring up Google Maps and put the traffic overlay on.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, right? Exactly. So that's you have this big awareness, like stuff that might be happening, but then we have to boil down to some micro awareness, like what's really happening around us, and that's a good way to see, like, hey, why is traffic all of a sudden really slow?
Right.
And is it Waze, that the other app that is actually really good with that too? So that's another thing.
If it's like really deep red, everything's stopped.
Everything's dead stop.
It's not.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the left here and get out of there before I get into that completely stopped traffic then in the next 2 blocks.
Yeah. Be aware. You might have to take an extra hour to get home because you've got to take the long way around.
All the way around, right. Exactly.
Or go to, in worst case, you might have to go completely way out of your way to be able to go somewhere else to circle around and get back. Or it may be where you can't get there.
Right.
You just can't go there.
You just don't go there. Right.
So, so we were on the tape.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're thinking about this awareness thing. So there's a lot of things we should be paying attention to no matter what.
Right.
So let's bring it up to, okay, now I'm driving.
Yep.
Yeah, I was aware of things, but at the last minute, something changed and it moved 3 blocks.
Which can happen. That's how mobs work. Yes.
Right.
All of a sudden it morphed.
Here I am driving at, as you used to call it, a corner, walk and don't walk.
Right.
In the city when I was riding along. But like here I am driving along, and I expected that problem to stay over here.
And it did. Now it's in front
Now
of
it's
you.
here.
Yeah.
So now, how do we deal with
So
it?
we're taking avoidance off the table now. So we
Yeah,
talked
pretty
about
much.
awareness, then avoidance. We're going to avoid it if we can. Can't avoid it. Well, I mean, sometimes it's better to just sit tight, right? Let it pass.
Could be.
It might be just passing by that area.
Yeah.
So let it. Keep your doors and windows locked. Stay in your car. If we're talking vehicle now, if you're in your vehicle, stay in your vehicle.
Right.
Don't do things to antagonize. Don't start honking your horn. Don't start acting aggressive. Start yelling. Just stay there. Be calm. This also can be like, depending on the political climate, do you have bumper stickers on your car that can be signal out? Are you wearing a T-shirt or something that could be, portrayed by the other side as, you're against them. So be careful with that type of stuff.
So here's one other thing that I've seen in video is as the group was moving across the intersection,
Yep. I know.
the lights changed.
And someone.
And then somebody started driving because, well, it's a green light. I'm going to drive, right?
You wait.
Well, maybe, remember that phrase, just because you can doesn't mean you should?
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. Yeah.
Right? Maybe you wait another cycle.
Right.
What's it going to hurt?
Right. I mean,
Right?
I've even heard people suggest you can show solidarity. Show that you're with them.
give them a thumbs
support
up.
them on their
Yay.
side. Hey, nice job. Whatever.
Don't look at my bumper sticker.
Right. Hey, that's up to you whether you're comfortable doing that, but it could be something to defray, attention from yourself.
Right.
Barring that, right now, maybe this mob is just, again, emotional. You can't reason with it. They're not really caring who you are.
Yeah.
They're just looking to cause chaos. And
You're a means to their end.
right, exactly. Well, now you might have to escape.
Okay.
Right? That's the next thing, right?
Yep.
So how do we do that? Well, we might have to leave our car, right? So what's our priority here? That's the problem. What's our priority? What's our responsibility?
Right. There's a lot of layers on priorities, aren't there?
Right.
So if you're alone in the car, what's the priority? Keep yourself safe.
Right. Self.
Right?
Exactly.
What if you've got somebody with you?
Right.
Wife, girlfriend, both of them? I don't know.
Kids, family, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Wife and girl, yeah.
You've got to protect somebody. Right.
Right. So
Mother-in-law, get out of the car, right?
Who? Is she there?
Where does she come from? We're joking. Stop
joking.
it. God, everybody just went.
Point being, though, it's not just you that you're responsible
Yeah, right.
for. Now you're responsible for other people.
Yeah, in my case, I might have the grandkids with me.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I'm not going to abandon the car with those guys with them in there.
Right.
Oof, that's a tough one.
All right. So now you got to protect yourself and them.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that? I mean, we might have to leave the car.
Right.
Might have to take them with us. So probably having a plan, even if it's one you come up with on the fly, you probably need to cue them in and tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. And direct them, because a lot of people with the noise, the chaos, not maybe understand what's going on, they're going to freeze.
They're in that panic mode a little bit, heart rate's
You're
up.
going to have to literally pull them along.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I remember hearing is, let's say you're on the peripheral of this thing and you're not it's the central, like you're not in the middle of the intersection and it's 5 blocks wide.
right.
Right. So you're kind of on the edge of it. If you remember that, 2 blocks back
Was clear.
was okay. All right. Or they're moving this way, but they're kind of, and you see it, like basically you try to get your brain back online out of the panic mode and start thinking.
Yeah, start thinking, what's the easiest way out of here?
So one of the things I'm thinking about is if it's somebody who is mostly mobile, okay, older children or other adults, what you can do is you can say, all right, everybody turn around, look at that building. Do you see that place?
Yep.
We're going there now.
That's where we're going. Right?
Yep. I'm going to get out. I'm going to open your door. We are going to go there. And then you might have to tell them, okay, we're going to walk at a mostly normal pace to not draw attention to ourselves.
Right.
Okay. Or we are going to run like our hair's on fire.
If we need to, right?
We're going to run like somebody's chasing us because they might be.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing with this is you could do this almost proactively too if you have the opportunity. You see the mob and you understand like this could get bad, but they're not surrounding you yet. You're not in it. You can get out of the car and be like, hey, we're going in that building.
Yeah.
We're going to
Let's
get
wait
out
it
of
out
here.
in here.
Let's wait out there. It might be better than being in the car. If you get trapped by the by the body of the mob, it's almost better to stay in your vehicle.
Yeah.
There is a certain amount of protection that's provided by that. Even with smashed windows, a car is still providing more
Still pretty
protection
good.
than you being out in the mob by yourself
Yeah.
or with your family loved ones with you with no protection around you. So think about that. I would say abandoning my car is going to be probably a last ditch thing where the car's been breached and I'm going to get
it's been
dragged out
disabled.
anyhow and disabled.
Yeah, it's been disabled.
Right. But and disabled, I mean, if there's a horde of people in front of you, it's very hard to move a vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, that pressure of people will stop a vehicle. It's very difficult.
Could.
It could.
Yes.
But, you know, I guess
That's why I drive
we're
a
going to get
GMC
into vehicle
pickup truck
tactics
with
here.
a lot of horsepower.
Right. We're going to get into vehicle tactics in a minute. But,
Yep.
but just know, you know, kind of stay in the car if you can.
Right.
You know, it's a last
So,
resort.
last ditch effort.
Last
So
resort, right.
If you really think about this, so your responsibilities are basically protect life.
Protect life, right?
That's the ultimate right there. Protect life. All right. Above all else, protect life. What would be the next down?
I mean, there's very little after that except you can do property.
Yeah, maybe property
guess.
depends on what it is.
But your car
items and things
is not worth your life. So why are you doing that?
Yeah,
So-
and a lot of people are asking, what are they talking about? Well, here's what I'm thinking. I don't have a lot of clutter stuff in my vehicle,
Right.
okay? Because I just don't. But I have things in my vehicle. Now, if those things are important for my survival, or if I need them if I'm exiting the vehicle and I want to get away safely and mostly unnoticed, I'm going to take them with me.
If you can, I would have
Right.
them. But they got to be near where you can grab them because this is
Yeah.
going to be a grab and literally go
Yeah, it's not
type situation.
If it's in the trunk,
not
not getting it.
You're not getting it.
I'm not getting
You're not
it.
getting to it.
That's why when my bag's with me, it's in the back seat of the truck,
Yeah,
or
you
it's
can reach
it's right
in.
behind the seat of the
Right.
the mini SUV there.
It's a grab and go.
Yeah, you get whatever you can gather up and take. But if it's just random stuff, who
It's
cares?
not worth none of it. And your car
cares?
isn't worth it. That's it. Well, in my car, it's worth $30,000. Well, you know what? What's your life worth? So
Yeah.
get out of there. Another thing too, when you're escaping, don't try to go against the flow. So if you're trying to fight the entire crowd to move,
Yeah.
you think, oh well, home is just right there, but you've got the crowd moving against you. You're not going to break through.
Yeah.
It's often better to move peripheral too. So
Yeah.
if they're
Go-
moving one way, you try to move basically 90 degrees to that,
Right.
because that should give you the shortest path to where you can probably break free.
So you think of it like when people are when they do water rescues.
It's the same idea.
Yeah. You kind of move with the current, but your goal is to go that way, but you're
Right.
going to end up over here
You
because
got
of the
the,
current.
got the undertow, you kind of follow it up, but then
Yeah.
swim out to the angle to get away from it. Same,
Right.
same kind of idea, actually.
and you're less noticeable that way.
Yeah, you kind of blend in a little bit, but you're moving, away from
You know
where
what?
you were.
I know you. So you and I have talked about this in the past, and now that we're on that, let's talk about that blending idea. Go ahead and throw them some
Yeah,
info on that.
so I mean, the next thing after escaping, like we have to get out of there. We also now kind of have to evade, because maybe you have gotten the mob's attention,
Maybe.
okay, or you just don't want to be the one that stands out.
Yeah.
So it might be, hey, I am going to, change my hat,
Yeah.
put a different jacket on real quick, so that I don't
Just
look like,
remove the jacket you have
or
on.
throw the jacket away, right, that I was wearing.
Right.
But, if they've identified you,
Yeah.
and I've seen some video where groups will actually have spotters looking for people who are trying to basically get away from the mob.
Yep.
And they may even have like people off to the sides that are ready to chase.
Yeah, they're gathering intelligence.
Driving in tow, and they have ready to chase. So,
Yeah.
so kind of be the gray man, blend in, and not even like what you're wearing on a normal day. Don't wear stuff that stands right out.
Yeah.
If it's easy recognizable, then you may want to have something different that you're wearing that can't be spotted as easily.
So it's interesting. I remember watching a lot of videos of the most recent, uprisings and riots and everything. And in general, they tend to wear the same stuff.
Yeah, a lot of black,
A lot of black,
Yep.
a lot of dark gray,
a lot of masks.
masks,
Yep,
hats,
hoodies.
Hoodies,
very
yeah, and
popular.
a lot of times the hats and hoodies don't have.
No logos. Nothing
Yeah,
nothing identifiable.
yeah. It's
That's the
almost
idea.
like they're trying to be the gray man,
They're trying to blend in together,
but
so
we can use that,
it's harder to spot. So you can
right?
also blend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get a plain hoodie,
Plain black hoodie.
or maybe with like a subdued whatever, maybe a college
Yeah.
logo or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yep.
Something
Or some
benign.
big brand name that's very,
Yeah,
popular.
yeah.
Yep.
And a nondescript hat,
Yep.
or and then just change of clothes that you can throw on.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
you definitely need to, not be spotted, not be the one that stands out.
right.
So,
I know it's kind of interesting. I know the CA and other undercover operatives. They go through all this training about how to basically change your, like you can go through a store, grab this, grab this, grab this, change it up, and all of a sudden you've changed your whole look.
right.
Or reversible jackets. You can
Right.
buy those, which we've had those in the past. Like a gray on the inside and a green on the outside. We can flip that around pretty quick.
Right. So it gives you a different look.
Even like a poncho or something.
Yep. I mean, even how you move a couple blocks, don't continue just in a straight line. Make some jogs, go a couple blocks, then make a left turn, then make a right turn.
Right. See if anybody's following you.
You can
or
tell if
just be
someone's actually following you, and it's unpredictable, right?
Yep.
Just don't make so many turns that you come back right to where you
Can I
started.
do it like in the movies and like dive into a front door of a store and then go out the back and then go through an alleyway?
That doesn't usually work very well.
They yell at you a lot when you do that, right?
And it causes more attention to be brought to you.
Because all of a sudden they're all yelling because you just ran through the employee's entrance.
And the thing too is, like, once you're kind of like out of the main mob, you want to slow down. You don't want to be the person running, because that will get attention. That will draw attention to you.
It'll draw attention from probably a lot of other groups.
Right. Which then the people who might be looking for you will cue in on. So slow down.
Yep.
Again, blend into the environment you find yourself in.
I've seen tips where people, they talk about evading like this, and then they get away from the mob, and because they have said that typically the mob will lose interest in you in very short order.
Usually pretty quickly.
A few 20, 30 yards or so.
Unless you've really gotten them mad for something, yes.
Yeah. Then you got 50 people chasing you. You got other things to deal with.
Yep.
But let's say you break away and you can slow down. You can get that walk.
Right.
Like if you can find a cafe or a restaurant or just a bookstore or something like that, go in there and go away from the windows a little bit. Just sit.
Just sit and be calm.
And wait it out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then now you've become unpredictable. You've broken your path.
Yep. Exactly.
And then you can, maybe go a different way now.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice.
Lots of good things. And, a lot of the stuff our research, sometimes we just forget how much we have seen and how much we've cataloged.
So I think
what other tips?
I think there's one other piece we haven't really talked about is, what if you have to use force, right?
Yeah.
That may come to the fact you can't just get away.
Right.
We have to use force, and we're trying to protect ourselves and our families. So
I've heard this quite a bit. We'll come up to the whole vehicle stuff in a little bit, but I've heard this quite a bit. It's like, well, I got a gun, I'll just show it to him.
Yeah.
You just made a situation worse.
Well, and a mob, remember, it's an emotional state. That gun might not mean anything.
No.
They're so hepped up that they don't care.
And here's what we've seen evidence of. They are bringing firearms to these events too.
Increasingly, there are firearms involved, yes.
And they claim it's for their own defense, which, okay, that could be valid.
But, you draw a gun.
Yeah. It's going to get bad.
Plus, if there's, a huge mob, how much ammunition do you have? How many people are you willing to shoot? That becomes a problem. So again,
one and done.
You also got to understand the use of force laws in your state, which vary widely in these types of situations.
Right.
So when can I use force? Obviously to protect life, but where is that line? So it's probably good to have some less lethal, which we'll talk about gear in a second.
Yeah.
But have a less lethal option, even if you do carry a firearm.
Oh yeah.
That you could potentially use. And I think the idea of that would be to give yourself enough space, make a hole to get through, to get out of there.
Right.
And again, we'll talk about vehicle in a second, but the best weapon, the best tool might be your vehicle.
Right.
It might not be your firearm.
Yeah.
So
it's an option.
Yeah.
So let's say, I had to bail out of the car for one reason or other, right? I've got to leave the vehicle. I've got my extra pack with me. I'm trying to blend as much as I can. I got that go bag.
Yep.
And, I've just got, a bunch of people that they're starting to focus on me a little bit. Let's say I whip out the spray and I hose a couple of them in the face. Okay, they're going to react.
Yep.
But that's going to draw attention.
Yeah, that's going to get you more attention. Right.
Honestly, pretty much anything I do
is going to get you more attention.
It has a very good chance.
Yeah.
So I would, being completely non-confrontational.
Yes.
While trying to get out of there, like you said, like maybe go with the crowd a little bit, go perpendicular, don't try to fight them.
Yep.
But
any use of force has to be an absolute last resort.
It has to be
in this type of situation.
Let's say I spray one guy, I'm going to have 5 people jumping on my head.
Exactly. That's exactly what will happen. So,
and I have some spray, but I don't have enough for the whole crowd.
Yeah, no, not at all, not at all. So I guess then, what kind of stuff should you have with you? I would keep a small pack, accessible, and you remember you're probably going to be on foot. If you're using the pack, you're grabbing it to go. Yeah. You're leaving the vehicle behind.
It's bad enough that I got to leave the vehicle.
Right. Yeah. So I would have some water. You might be a long walk home. Goggles or safety glasses. You might end up in the situation where maybe now there's counter protest or police coming in, and there is tear gas, riot gas, that type of stuff. I've seen crowds using pepper spray.
Yes.
So you might get sprayed yourself. So glasses can help with that.
Yep.
Gloves. Maybe a mask. The protesters are often wearing masks, so that'll help you blend in, but it also help you breathe in these types of situations.
So let's see. So in the videos I've seen the black cloth masks. I've seen black and gray and sometimes blue and green bandanas.
Yeah. Yep.
Like darker green, almost like
dark
OD
color
green,
bandana.
right?
Yep.
And I've also seen like the blue mask that everybody was trying to wear during COVID.
Yeah. And I've also more recently, especially in the LA riots recently, seen like the N95s that the protesters are wearing, trying to avoid that tear gas effect.
Yes.
So again, any of those will help you blend in and also potentially, help with dealing with tear gas, riot gas, that type of stuff.
Yeah. So be aware that blending in with them might mean that law enforcement might also think you're one of them too. So
that's a potential
your
downside.
Actions better speak a lot louder than the minute you see law enforcement and you're nearby them, you probably want to ungray yourself and make sure they know you're okay.
And your job isn't to hang around. You're trying to get out of there. So we talked about change of clothing, a jacket you can throw on quickly, a different t-shirt, whatever. Yep. Good shoes.
Oh,
I mean, this is not the time to be wearing your flip-flops and then trying to get out of there. So,
I know somebody's already thinking.
Yep.
Are Crocs going to count? No.
Tactical.
You got to flip the strap up to go into 4-wheel mode, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Okay. Then they'll probably
off-road
be okay. Yeah, you got to go in off-road mode for them.
Maybe some medical gear in case you or one of your loved ones is hurt.
Yeah.
I would probably put that in the pack. Definitely your cell phone and probably a battery bank.
A battery bank and a charger cord,
Yeah, so you can charge it if it wasn't fully charged or you need to make calls. Maybe you're trying to coordinate someone to come pick you up, something like that.
Yeah.
Again, you can pull up apps on your phone, look where there's stop traffic. You may be able to follow where this protest is going and be able to, again, get to the point where you avoid. And then I think a lot of people don't think about a paper map. For some reason, you're separated from your cell phone isn't working. One of the things I've recently read about is sophisticated groups are using jammers. And cell phones are not able to be used in these areas.
Yep, I saw that our whole article.
Yeah, so a paper map of your area might give you an advantage to be able to map a way to avoid and get back home from wherever you find yourself. So
luckily, most of the places I travel, I know fairly well.
Pretty well, right? Yeah.
But I could get turned around.
Yeah.
Or
especially in the chaos of the whole situation, right?
Yeah. All of a sudden I think I'm on, at Main and State, and all of a sudden I'm over on Plymouth.
Right. Couple blocks over, but you're like, wait a minute.
How did I get there?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, the mob brought me over here. Now I got to reorient myself so I can figure out, which way to go here.
Right. So, keep the pack very light, small. You don't want, again, a big pack will draw attention. So you want to keep it pretty small, but a small backpack's pretty innocuous. A lot of the protesters I see have backpacks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's okay. But just some basics in there.
So one of the things that I did, after that one episode we did is, I've got that big, it's more of a hiking pack. Okay. And actually, I found a couple more. They're more like book bags in a way, bag backpacks.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I did is I stuffed a change of clothing in there. I stuffed one of my small medical kits in there.
Yep.
I usually got bottles of water with me in the car, so I've got that. So I stuck a few things in there, but my thoughts on that is, I'm not using that bag to make a 16 to 17 mile trek home.
Right.
I'm using that bag to make a 8 to 10 to 15 block walk.
Walk to remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah. And then once it's all settled, I'll go back and see if my truck's still viable or car's still viable,
whatever
or
you need to do.
Whatever I need
Call
to
for
do.
a ride.
Call for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Like my other bag is like,
this isn't like grid down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is, I need to get from here out of this area to here.
Yeah. I just need to go a little bit, maybe a mile or two.
Well, then, I guess on that same thing, we talked about being on foot, but it's kind of like circling back.
I know. Let's talk about the vehicle. All right. So we've been talking about foot, but we keep delving back to that vehicle issue.
Yeah, we're going to circle back to vehicles.
Right. So here's the thing. I know the minute we started this, the minute we started talking about this, somebody's like, well, if this is around my vehicle, I'm just going to drive right through.
Florida man was jumping up in the background going, me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's not just Florida man. LA man was doing that too.
Their governor
but I know
said,
Florida.
Their governor said.
Well, the thing that I noticed after that announcement, they weren't in the roads.
No, they moved.
So they got the hint.
Yeah, they got the hint. Maybe that, that's the whole point. So,
but, I'll say that being surrounded in your vehicle, there are options. Stay in the vehicle, leave the vehicle.
We talked about staying in the vehicle.
Right. And then what one of my mentors said, which was echoed through a lot of the community, is if the vehicle can move and you think you can move it slowly about a little less than a walking pace.
Yeah, this isn't mash the gas. This is just
it's not go for it. It's
against the crowd.
I'm going to move. I'm going to keep moving. As long as the vehicle can keep moving, I'm going to keep moving it.
Right.
And incidentally, he said if somebody gets in the way and they fall under your wheel, that is their issue.
Right.
You didn't intend for them to do it because you were already moving. They moved in front of you. Yeah. You can play the semantics, right?
Sure.
But you didn't like gas on it. And as the people, he said, as they peel off of you, you can go a little faster until you're clear, then you can take off. Right? So basically what you're doing is it's like a boat in water. You're starting out slow to build the bow wake, to get the draft up, okay, and then you can get moving, right?
Yep.
So that's one answer.
Potential downside of that, the crowd's going to get angrier, potentially.
Maybe, because you're leaving their area of operation.
Right. You're not playing into their game.
Yep.
Second downside of that is it could be viewed in certain states as use of deadly force. Because the vehicle could be considered a weapon.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. And that's why the slow approach, like not trying to look like you're running people over, but trying to just
hit the gas
literally kind of inching forward.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, I was just trying to leave. I was just trying to leave.
Yeah. I was just trying to move the car.
Right.
That's it. I was just trying to move the car.
Right.
And he said, and he stressed, at just about a walking pace initially. Mm-hmm. So they have time to move out of the way.
Right.
Exactly. He goes, and somebody may follow you and they may start beating on your car.
Oh, yeah.
And his thing is, unless they breach the interior, don't worry about it. Just worry about moving the vehicle.
And that's the thing, what we talked about earlier about breaching the interior.
Yeah.
Stay there, keep moving. Right.
So, we're into that. So everybody's thinking, I'm just going to hit the gas and run. No,
don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we want to tell them?
I mean, again, this is like, there's no perfect answer for this. And it's going to really depend on the situation you find yourself in. It's going to be dependent too. You're going to react to the violence of the mob. If they're literally just standing around and yelling, just sit there. Just literally sit there and wait for things to clear up.
Yeah.
If it becomes violent and you're being attacked and your vehicle is going to be breached, that's when we have to make a decision on, are we going to act and what we're going to do? And it might be start to move the car forward.
Yeah.
It might be, if there's deadly force, if someone pulls a gun in front of you, well, guess what? Now that's deadly force being used against you. You can protect your life.
Yeah.
Right? Or I might have to leave the vehicle and do, everything I need to do. One thing I wanted to bring up was do not display a firearm to intimidate them. Like we talked about, there's guns in these protests. It may not work to intimidate them, make them back down, even from inside your vehicle. If your firearm comes out, it's a last resort because your life is in danger or someone else's life that you care about is in danger. So
Right. So, here's the thing, like I've talked to other people about this, don't display the gun unless you absolutely feel it's necessary, right? You don't intimidate, you don't do it.
right,
And they're like, yeah, but you're a gun guy. I'm like, no, I'm a don't do stupid shit guy.
yeah, it doesn't solve all problems.
No, it's not going to help.
No,
No matter what you do, unless you are facing or somebody in your vehicle is facing severe physical injury or death.
immediately, right now.
Like, imminent.
Yeah.
It's happening now. It's not the answer. There's your use of force talk, everybody. There's a short TED talk right there.
There it is.
But in reality, you're already using deadly physical force with the vehicle by moving.
You could be, viewed that way for sure.
So be careful is what we're saying.
Be careful.
Think about this. You don't want to run somebody over. Okay? That's not your intention. You want to move the vehicle. And if you need to move the vehicle really fast because somebody's pointing a gun at you, as in one of our vehicle classes, I had the video of the guy in the excursion who was driving. It was in Seattle.
Yeah.
He pulled up to the road, and they actually had video of a guy who came out of the crowd, pointed a gun at the passenger window of this excursion. The guy he saw it the last second.
And then he
gassed on it.
Right. And that is reasonable in that situation.
Yeah.
Right.
And how many, like 3 or 4 rounds went into that vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yep.
And the guy got hit in the leg or the arm.
Yeah, he was wounded. He survived, but yes, he was wounded.
But they also found out that the guy who had the gun, the shooter, was at 2 or 3 other locations and did the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just somebody finally caught him there.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's not going to be violent, but what we're trying to do is tell you, don't make it worse.
Yeah.
Because it may just die down and you can get away safely without a lot of
drive away in a few minutes or an hour later, right?
Hey, you can fix dents and broken glass, broken taillights and headlights.
Yep.
All that stuff can be fixed, guys. Okay, just
this truly is like
safe.
where patience is a virtue. Like,
oh yeah,
if you can just be patient, stay calm.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy.
I guess that kind of goes with the whole theory about being the gray man.
Yeah.
You're not a reactionary person. You
Don't
think
react.
tactically.
Yep.
You're cautious about things.
Right.
And you're patient, and you kind of analyze before you act.
Right.
Okay. So this is it. What else we got? What else?
So I was gonna say, we don't have too much else except I was thinking what kind of training might someone want to take or have to deal with this, and you mentioned our vehicle tactics class.
Yep.
That might be something, and we teach how to get out of the vehicle. Under stress like that. That might be something you need to do. A driving class. Like how do I really actually drive my vehicle in this type of situation?
There are professionally run schools that teach you how to do. Essentially, I'll loosely call it combative driving.
Right. Tactical driving. There's different names.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's one in Virginia. I believe there's still one in Pennsylvania.
There's one in Pennsylvania.
I could have sworn that I saw one somewhere in Midwest. I don't remember where. It was in a Midwest
Try to put
state.
some in the comments here.
And honestly, if you guys have any good recommendations, throw them in the comments down below too.
Yeah.
And I know there's a couple on the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then, other things like firearms training, if you're going to use your firearm, you should know how to use it.
Yeah.
So you should have firearms training.
One thing I want you to remember, guys, just because you own a vehicle doesn't mean you know how to drive it. Right? I grew up with a piano in my house. I don't know. I can barely eke out entertainer on the keyboard. Okay. And it's the same thing. Just because you have a pistol permit and you own a gun, it doesn't mean you know how to use it. So that's a call for help right there. You need to get training.
Get training.
There's a moment in your life that is the reason you bought the gun for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You bought the gun for self-defense, so that means you understand that at some point, someone's going to do something to you that you would rather not have happen, and it's going to be bad.
Yep.
And if you don't do any training, it's probably going to be worse.
It's going to be really bad.
It's going to be really bad. You're not going to rise to the occasion. We see that all the time, right?
You don't right now.
You default to the level of your last best rep. And you've got
Hopefully.
no reps.
You got
you're
no
done,
reps, then you're really in
okay?
trouble.
So train.
Yep.
Come see us. Go see a professional instructor. Just get training. That's all that matters. If you want recommendations for trainers, put a note in the comment below,
We'll add
and
some.
I'll tell you what to look for.
No matter where you are.
Yeah, I'll tell you what credentials to look for, and if you tell me where you are, I might know somebody in that area that I can refer you to. I just did that yesterday for a guy who called us for he had a specific need, and it's a 6-hour drive for him to come here for us to help him.
Right.
But I sent him to a colleague who was an hour and a half from him.
Right.
And I called up my colleague and said, "Can you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Give me his info. I'll take care of him."
Right.
So that's the network that we have.
Yep.
So I don't know, top three tips. Let's sum it up.
Okay.
What's your top?
Something we didn't exactly hit on, but number one, physical fitness.
Okay.
You need to be able to walk/run
Yeah.
if that situation becomes enough of a violent encounter that you have to get out of there on foot.
Or even gently push through a crowd. That takes effort.
That takes some effort, right? So physical fitness would be number one.
Number two,
What do you got?
mindset.
Yes.
Have the right mindset. Have that calm mindset. Like, okay, this is going on. It doesn't affect me yet. I don't need to do anything. Or this is going on and it is affecting me. What are my options? You've got to be able to think.
I don't back down should not be your theme song.
Yeah. How about we got to get out of here?
We got to get out of this place.
We got to get out of this
It's the last
place.
thing I ever do. Yeah. There you go. That's good. That's a good one. Mindset is a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now it is in the background trying to find all the songs and put them in the
that's
background.
right.
Watch.
That's right.
Yeah, they're probably not royalty free. We can't use them. We'll get flagged. Or we can only use like 5 seconds of it or something.
Lastly, I think get some training.
Yeah.
Like we talked about.
Training.
Yeah, we can talk about kit and all that stuff, but if you don't have physical fitness, a good mindset, and you aren't trained on how to do these things, all the other stuff doesn't matter.
So again, physical fitness.
Yep.
Now here's some other things. You know, I wrote one of the magazines I was writing for, a local magazine. They were asking about, like, can you talk about physical fitness and self-defense? I'm like, yeah. Here's the thing. Physical fitness isn't just being in shape. What the spillover, the after effects, the results, you can handle stress better.
Yeah, it's resilience. Yeah, you get resilience.
And we're not talking about getting in 5% body fat, ripped, jacked up, muscle bound. I'm going to compete for Mr. Olympia stuff. I'm just talking about where, like Matt said, you got to be able to move a few blocks in a rapid manner. Okay. You have to be able to climb a bunch of stairs.
Yeah, not be totally gassed.
And not pass out at the top of the second flight.
Carry your kid,
You got to be able to carry some extra weight or somebody else.
Or
like in my case, I'm going to have to scoop up both grandkids, and then soon third grandkid, I'm going to put him in the backpack, and he'll be small enough for a while, and then just get him going.
Yep.
Okay. The 5-year-old can walk and run with me. I'll just grab a hold of her, and she'll be tiptoe running with me, but we're going to be moving.
Yeah.
But physical fitness, you can actually recover from stress and injury faster.
Much easier, yeah.
Okay, you can handle stress
better.
Yeah,
you're definitely just more resilient. Yeah.
So and by the way, if you can handle stress better, you can think.
Yeah, you have that brain power left.
So you don't go into panic mode and reptilian survival mode. You go, you
can think about what the next move is.
Tell the Velociraptor to stay in the corner for a little bit while you work the problem, right? So fitness, okay? Being physically fit is better than not.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep.
And then what was number 2?
Proper mindset.
Mindset.
Yep.
Okay. And then number 3 was gear.
Training before the
training and gear. Training on your gear.
Have the gear.
Yep.
And my bonus thing is the avoidance thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. If you can not get into the situation, then you don't have to do any of this, right? We avoided it. No problem.
That's got a nice challenge for everybody. Guys, here's what I want you to do. I want you to start studying the gray man principles.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think somebody wrote a book about the whole gray man
there's
thing.
a couple.
There's a few of them out there, right?
Yep.
But look up being a gray man.
Yep.
Okay.
And
or
it
gray
might
woman.
not be what
I don't
you.
care.
It's
Whatever.
not, but it might not be what you think either. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, just look up tactics and how to blend and not be noticed.
Yep.
Now, I know some of us in the human race love to be noticed. Okay? We just like to be in the forefront. But
Not the
you know
time to
what? This isn't it. This isn't the time to do it.
So
Guys, thanks for, checking in. Please comment below.
Yeah.
You know, we want to discuss
put
stuff
your
with
tips
you guys.
in the comments, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We want to hear from you. You know, like we might find somebody who is, one of you might be a pretty good expert on being a gray man or getting out of a situation. And please share your tips. This is about education.
Yep. We'll get in there and comment too. So
yeah.
Thank you.
We'll answer them up. So again, every episode we ask, and a lot of you do deliver. What we're looking for is like this.
Okay.
Subscribe.
Definitely subscribe.
Right. And as Matt likes to say,
mash that notification button.
There we go. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for checking in. See you next time.
Yep.